I was trying to problematize the figure of the hero in the context of the current ideological status quo that we have in Ukraine and beyond, referring to the warfare that we have, that Russia has with Ukraine, but also in the context of the politics of memory issues. And basically, I named three important dimensions or aspects of the ideology of heroism, so to say. The first one was about why national heroes exist, and my idea was that they actually play a very important role in terms of the struggles of over the past that we have, also internationally, because they are actually presenting the way how to forget about our own crimes that we committed in the past. That through heroization we are trying to distract ourselves from responsibility to talking on that crimes. Secondly, I was also arguing the connection between the figure of a hero with the notion of a victim, trying to inscribe a heroism in the ideology of victimization, because hero and victim is a couple very much fundamentally intertwined and interconnected. That through victimization we are also trying to continue to deny the crimes, trying to present our past as a distant one, as an alien one, that it was not us, we were just victims. And thirdly, all of that also serves a role of trying to, in the context of the warfare, trying to deny the horror of death. That through heroism, death is presented not as a horror, but just a pretext. And in this sense, also in the reference to the Maidan experience, I was mentioning this famous slogan, "Heroes don't die," because basically we have that because people do die. So heroism is an ideological way to trying to present the dead as alive. So in this sense, heroes are really like zombies. So that's the matrix how they are produced. So in order to overcome this social darkness, we have to reject the optics of heroism and to face the horror of death, the horror of war directly, because that's the only reason which can help us to stop that. Yeah, but this topicality derives from the field of culture, from, in general, superstructures. That's why it's ideology. So I think that all the semiotic languages of culture have a lot of potential that probably political field is not able to do that, to work through the traumatic past and to speak about unbearable conditions that we are in today. And I think that's a very healthy enlightenment task to be achieved and conducted today, because without that we will be just trapped. Well, this East-West divide obviously exists, and it's not just an imaginable one. Ukraine is a country which is outside the EU, so I'm also speaking from the other side of the wall, of the European wall. And from this perspective, of course, I think that such figures as heroes are not so common inside the EU. It's already really like post-heroic times. But unfortunately, the raw reality also catches us in the east of Europe, on the periphery of Europe, and in the form of the warfare, it's coming closer and closer. That's why we are actually speaking about heroism, right? Because without that realpolitik, it will be just an abstract topicality. Unfortunately, today we have a very urgent need to reflect on that. Well, in this sense, reality is a fiction, is based on fiction. Of course, there are some real people, not just heroes who come from literature in the past, but at the same time, to the very way how the heroes are constructed, also in reality, reminds a lot of literature methods or of any kind of fictional ways to present them. So in this sense, there is no clear difference, because those who are heroes in reality are also fictional, in an ontological way, I would say. Yeah, for sure. I hope that there is a difference, but in general, yeah, of course, the very narrative of heroism is a very masculine one. So women who are part of that, who are involved in this discourse, are present, but the way they are present is also very patriarchal and masculine. So they are rather passive objects there than active subjects. So it's also like a gender-wise problem that somehow the whole discourse is very speculative in terms of feminism. Well, you see, I think that we have that one has to have much more courage to live his or her life without this fantasy of being a hero. Because basically, I can say that the very structure how heroism is constructed, it's always about phantasm, that a human being who is trapped in a very frustrated situation and who cannot bear some horrible conditions is constructing a fantasy of his or her heroism, like those who are in a minor position, like we also have this logic in Hollywood factory, right? Those who are in minor position always have fantasies about having super skills, right? So, but it's always a speculation. So that's why it's much more courage being needed to live life without heroism, because phantasm is always an escapism.